Saint Faustina was chosen by Jesus for an extraordinary mission to proclaim his divine mercy to the world. Despite having little formal education, she possessed a deep spiritual life and entered the congregation of the Sisters of Our Lady of Mercy. Her mystical experiences and dialogues with Jesus were recorded in the famous diary Divine Mercy in My Soul. This diary is not just a personal account, but a divinely inspired testament. It contains the pillars of the devotion to divine mercy and, crucially, a terrifying vision of hell that she was commanded to record, so that no soul could claim ignorance of its existence or nature. The revelation of hell, as shocking as it may seem, is an act of mercy, a warning so that souls may turn to repentance while we are still in the time of mercy, before the time of justice arrives. Saint Faustina describes hell as a place of great torment, vast and terribly extensive. She details 7 general torments that afflict all the damned. These torments represent the essence of damnation, the universal experience of separation from God and the consequences of sin. First torment, the loss of God. This is the deepest suffering, the eternal and irreversible separation from God, the source of all love, goodness, truth, and happiness. The soul, created to be in communion with the Creator, loses that union forever. It is not just the absence of something never possessed, but the conscious pain of having freely and deliberately rejected infinite love. It is the bitter realization of having refused the supreme good, resulting in absolute emptiness where divine fullness should have been. Second torment, perpetual remorse of conscience. Souls are tormented by a constant and painful self-accusation. They are fully aware of the graces they rejected, the opportunities for salvation they missed, and the sins they committed. Unlike earthly remorse, which can lead to conversion, this eternal remorse is sterile, cruel, and unchangeable, a torture with no relief. The soul clearly sees the evil it chose but is trapped in its decision, with no possibility of repentance or change. Third torment, the immutability of one's state. The soul has the absolute and crushing certainty that its suffering is eternal and will never cease. There is no relief, no hope, no possible change. This total absence of hope intensifies all other torments. Unlike the sufferings of life, which can be alleviated by the hope of improvement, in hell the soul knows its fate is sealed forever. The full awareness of never again peace, joy, nor God, is an unbearable burden. Fourth torment, spiritual fire. A fire that is not material but spiritual, ignited by the wrath of God. This fire penetrates the soul without consuming it, causing indescribable suffering. It is the soul's experience before God's holiness and love, now perceived as torment by the soul that radically rejected the good. God's presence, which should be light and life, is felt as agony for one who chose darkness. Fifth torment, continual darkness, suffocating stench, and the mutual vision of evil. Souls dwell in oppressive and nauseating darkness, symbolizing separation from God. Despite the darkness, they see each other with terrifying clarity, perceiving all the evil in themselves and in others, with no illusions, masks, or self-deception. It is a constant and shameful exposure of wickedness, without comfort or redemption. Unlike on earth, where sin can be disguised, in hell it is revealed in all its ugliness. Sixth torment, constant company of Satan and the demons. Those who chose sin and followed Satan's deceptions in life are now eternally under his dominion. This companionship is not an alliance, but one of slavery and torment. Satan and his demons even hate those who followed them and delight in tormenting them. The false freedom sought in sin becomes the cruelest slavery. Seventh torment, terrible despair, hatred of God, curses, and blasphemies. This is the climax of pain, absolute despair, with no trace of hope. From the soul arises a fixed and deep hatred of God, the source of all goodness, now perceived as the main tormentor. This state manifests in incessant blasphemies and curses. The soul, incapable of love, praise, or worship, lives in eternal revolt and impotent hatred. It is the complete negation of heaven, where love and eternal joy reign. In addition to these common torments, Saint Faustina reports that there are specific torments for each soul according to the sins committed. She writes, "These are the torments of the senses. Each soul undergoes terrible and indescribable sufferings related to the way it sinned. This reveals a divine justice perfectly proportionate. The vices cultivated in life directly shape the soul's sufferings in hell." Faustina mentions caves and pits, each with different forms of agony, suggesting distinct degrees of punishment. For example, one who sinned gravely through gluttony may experience torment related to that desire, now perverted and eternally frustrated. The same applies to sins of greed, lust, wrath, envy, pride, or sloth, all with their specific consequences. The saint herself confessed that she would have died from such a vision if not sustained by God's omnipotence. Her words, vivid as they are, remain only a pale reflection of a reality beyond human comprehension. Jesus revealed to Saint Faustina that the present time is the time of mercy, a time of abundant grace that precedes the time of justice. The vision of hell, in this context, is a severe and urgent warning so that no one rejects this free mercy. As Father Paulo Ricardo rightly taught, devotion to divine mercy only makes sense if we truly believe in the reality of hell, for it is precisely from hell that God's mercy desires to save us. May this truth, as harsh as it may seem, lead us to daily and authentic conversion, seeking God's grace through fervent prayer, frequent and worthy reception of the sacraments, and the constant practice of works of mercy, while we are still in the time of mercy, before the night falls and the door is closed, giving way to justice.